It is the end of the 2023 Green APU ARA, and right behind us is Lake
Superior.
We're here for the Lake Superior Memorial Rally. Before we start, Brento, BK, oh sorry, I'm not going to call you Brento, I'm going to call you BK, Brenton Kelly. Let's talk about the reason we're talking about a memorial rally. You know, before we get into anything else that's going on, we need to remember what happened here 12 months ago to Al Dantes Jr., somebody that you knew.
Yeah.
It was a true tragedy, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, it was terrible what happened to Al last year. We're standing here in his hometown right now, Lance. You know, a lot of the stickers on his car were all local businesses. It's a fairly small town. We're standing here on the coast of Lake Superior. It's just such a tragedy. It's great that we're able to honor him, and seeing such the response from the community and everyone wanting to be a part of this event, you know, to honor Al.
Certainly, Saturday morning Park Expose is going to be an emotional place here on day two of the rally, but day two we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here, but it doesn't matter. Day two starts with a stage that used to be known as
Herman Nestoria. So
testing my knowledge slightly. Herman Nestoria.
Nestoria,
sorry,
yeah.
But it's now known as
Al's Playground.
Yeah, which is great. And we drove that stage yesterday, and it is the most astonishing stage. It's just beautiful. I wrote in a piece that's on the website on dirtfish.com. It's not hard to see when Al's family had a property on that road. It's not hard to see why he became a rally driver.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's naturally a very, very good rally stage. It's a tight, twisty stage, lots of camber, a little bit of water, wet stuff here. It really shows, you know, where Al's style came from, always trying to be sideways and throw it around a little bit because that slippery surface, and just, it's a great road.
Yeah, no, absolutely it is. And this is going to be a great event. As we said, final round of ARA for 2023. Brandon Semenuk, Keaton Williams already got the championship sorted. They've tied it all up. What else have we got to look forward to in the next 2 days?
Yeah, the limited two-wheel drive with Sean Donnelly and Chris Sladek in his brand new Acura Integra.
Yeah.
First event, he's debuting it. It's great to see a brand new car coming out here, still going for the championship. That'll be a great battle to watch in limited two-wheel drive, as well as limited four-wheel drive. We have Javier Oliveras and Matthew Dickinson. You know, we watched them and talked to him a lot the whole time throughout Ojibwe. And Matt Dickinson basically was saying if he didn't stay in the points, he wasn't going to do this rally. Came down to it. He won the power stage by 0.4 seconds.
Incredible.
So close. Stayed in the championship, and they're here to battle it out.
And now let's talk, BK, a little bit about where we are. Obviously, we're on the shores of Lake Superior. Canada is just over there somewhere. We've just come out of Menge Creek,
Yep.
a stage that's run on Saturday just the once. But generally, I mean, tell us, okay, Michigan. Tell us where we are geographically in America.
So we're in the northern part of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. You know, there's a lot of different parts of Michigan and a lot of vast areas, but we're basically at the base of the Keweenaw Peninsula on Lake Superior. This is the biggest, coldest, deepest Great Lake in all of the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
And it's a
You
great
know that
location.
because you swim in it.
Yes, I've swam in this lake many times.
And so in the upper peninsula, what do you call people from up here?
Yoopers.
Yoopers.
Yes.
And if you're south of the bridge,
I would be considered a troll
A
because
troll.
I'm from under the bridge.
under the bridge, exactly. But it's an amazing place. It's somewhere I'd never been to before. But what has astonished me is the kind of Finnish aspect and the Finnish influence to this. We know there's the Sisu challenge. Sisu, for those of you who don't know, it's a Finnish word that means inner steel. It means a real determination. And there is, as I said, there's a big Finnish influence. There's a big. There were a lot of Finnish inhabitants came over here to work. We think maybe in the copper mines. We're not entirely sure. You might want to Google some of this stuff. But yeah, there are. You're driving around and you're seeing Finnish shops, Finnish flags everywhere. Tell us a little bit about what you know of that Sisu challenge and the Finnish influence.
You know, the Sisu Challenge was brought up by a couple of Al's co-drivers and other friends that just wanted to help commemorate and help push the sport. And there's a lot of donations that came from a bunch of different companies, a bunch of different actual competitors even contributed to it to push, and it's specifically two-wheel drive. It is the Sisu two-wheel drive challenge. And just to egg people on, get people more motivated and remember Al, something that he was all about. Al was not just a competitor, but he was, a friendly competitor where he's not just trying to win, he was trying to get more people involved in the sport. And that really showed, saw all the local support. We're here in Lance, his hometown, like I said, and you saw all the local businesses all over his car, had so much support. He was very known in the town. Like you're saying, with his Finnish heritage in this area, we're driving around, we're seeing Finnish flags all over the place. A lot of the roads are named after Finnish stuff. So just great overall experience here.
And a lot of the roads, I have to say, are very Finnish. And of course, Finland, very famous for lakes. We're pretty famous for lakes out here as well. One thing that absolutely kind of captivated me about this rally as well, we talked a lot at the beginning of the year about Olympus Rally, great WRC heritage. In some ways, you kind of forget that America's time in the World Rally Championship started right here, didn't it, with the Press On Regardless rally. And tell us more about that.
You know, it's interesting. Going to Olympus this year, I heard a lot of people speaking, you know, this is the only WRC event that's ever been happening in America. And I'm from Michigan. I want to clarify here. We've had a couple of WRC events, and I don't know if it was maybe even before. I mean, 10, 15 years before. Well, it was 73 in 1974.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, seeing that World Rally Championship come through here, we've actually got some people now who are part of the organizing, you know, Steve Gingras. We had a chance to talk to him the other day.
Ah, fascinating.
He spectated the event as a kid.
9 years old, he saw a Lancia Stratos or something like that for the first time, and that's what hooked him. That's what got him involved, and that's why he's here today as co-chair of the organising committee. It's those kind of moments that you never forget, and just there's not many of the roads that are still in this event, but I think Mount Marquette, the Saturday stage.
He said, yeah, there's a part of it that used to be part of the stage. Something about the POR rally in general was that it wasn't just in this area. It started in Detroit, and then it came all the way up here. And that's, even if you're driving today, that's a 7 or 8 hour drive just going for it. So, I mean, that rally was 2 weeks long or something.
But it was something, I'm not sure how long it was, but it certainly, like you say, started in Detroit, came all the way up here, all the way to Houghton, which is even further north than here, and then all the way back down to Detroit. It was an absolute monster of an event, and some great memories. Steve was telling us some stories yesterday from when Sandro Minari, you tell a story. It's an absolute corker.
Yeah, the story of Minari was basically he was going a little bit fast on a transit or road section for what you guys call them. Yeah, so not a van. He was not going fast in a van. He was going fast on a road section and passed a police officer. And basically he was going a little too fast over the speed limit, and the police officer gave chase. So it was kind of hunting him down. Obviously he was going pretty quick, so I had to catch up to him. But Minari was able to make it to the time control, get his time card in, get up to the start the stage, and the police officer chased him right down the stage, drove straight through the time control, and
sadly,
the police officer went off
the road. Yeah. So that they ended that evening's, that afternoon's stages right there and then. It's fair to say, you know, Sandro Minari wouldn't really have had much of a clue that anybody was chasing him. You know, I've been fortunate enough to sit and drive in a Stratos. You have no clue. You're looking through a sort of window that's about this big, and you've got no rear vision. So, but what a great story. The whole history of Press On Regardless is just full of those kind of tales. And I'm sure this weekend we're going to see more of the same. Yeah. Hopefully not with the sheriff chasing anybody into a stage, but as there's lots more to come this weekend.
Yeah, you know, this is always, it's still a Press On Regardless rally. This is a very mean, rough, tough rally. It's tricky, there's kicks, there's slippery sections, there's fast sections. It's got a good mix of everything, and it's going to catch some people out. It always does.
You've done it. I mean, tell us, what is it like to experience this event from the driving seat?
You know, I've had a lot of big moments here, about a lot of big slides that luckily I never have had any big offs here, but I have broke a lot of axles, and I'm going to blame that on the kicks. You know, coming over those kicks, it's not quite like a jump where you're going straight and hitting a jump, or even over a crest and it's a jump, but the car's coming off on an angle, and you saw that a lot today. Yeah. And you come off on an angle with a little bit too much power, you come down on one wheel, those drive shafts pop. And that's one of the main things here. Everyone, even the first time I was doing this rally, everyone said, watch out for the kicks, watch out for the kicks. So I was always thinking about them.
How do you do that then? What do you do? How do you note that? Because ultimately it's just a jump, isn't it? But you've got to remember as you're coming flat out down the straight that actually you've got to take that with a degree more caution.
You know, your setup is still the same. It's more about what you do midair and landing that makes the big difference. If you're coming down on the power like you would normally on a jump where you're expecting all four wheels to hit the ground together, it's not going to happen. You come down and hit one wheel, it's going to mess the car up a little bit.
And there's a lot of force then going through that wheel, particularly if you're on the throttle.
Exactly. And some of those more mild kicks, actually, you don't get air on the front tires. They just bring that rear end up and kind of kick you. You won't even expect it. I mean, you're kind of thinking, I'm going over a hill, I get a little bit light, but all of a sudden the rear end comes up, shifts a couple of feet, and then all of a sudden you're going wheel to wheel, trying to catch it back.
Nobody likes the wheel to wheel.
No.
Nobody likes that. The nature of the roads, okay, there's not quite the same number of jumps that you get in Finland, but they are very, very fast and flowing stages here, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a little bit of variation because, I mean, from Saturday's stages to where we end up on the end of Saturday, basically Friday night, we're in this area in Lance, and then we move to Marquette. which is about 60, 70 miles away. So a little bit of variation in those stages, but what you're seeing is some of that Finland-esque stuff, fast, flowy, lots of crests, a little bit of camber here and there, a little more sandy on Saturday stages than we're seeing on some of the other stages.
Yeah, and one thing we do have to say, you might remember a tremendous fight for victory here in LSPR. It was a winner-takes-all battle between Ken Block and, of course, Brandon Semenuk last year. There was also some snow. Less likely, we're supposed standing here in coats and hats. It is quite chilly. It's around 44 degrees, which I don't really know what that means. It's about 6 or 7 degrees. It's pretty chilly. But we're quite unlikely to see snow. We've come forward at 2 weeks in the calendar. It was end of October last year. What sort of weather can we expect across the event?
You know, looking at the forecast, we're seeing maybe a little bit of rain on Saturday, but it does change very quickly. You know, even on Recce, we would get, you know, a quick rush of 2 or 3 minutes of rain, and then it would clear up and be blue skies for the next hour, and then we get the same thing again. So it's very unpredictable here. Being so close to the Great Lakes and being at the base of the Keweenaw Peninsula, that natural lake effect wind is coming over. We could see some of that snow even at the spur of the moment, but just judging on the time of the year and how warm the ground is, we're not going to see that snow stick. And it's going to create paste, exactly like we saw last year, like a toothpaste or a cake frosting on the road.
Yeah.
Make it very interesting if that happens. I'm hoping it doesn't happen.
Well, I'm kind of hoping it does happen a little bit, just to spice things up a bit more. Another interesting fact, how much snow does this is America's snowiest state, is that right?
I don't know that I'd say it's the snowiest state exactly. I know Northern in Marquette, Northern College, Northern Michigan College, I should say, is the snowiest campus in all of the colleges in the U.S. And then Michigan Tech, which is in Houghton, about just 40 minutes here, maybe an hour and a half away from Marquette, is also known for being one of the top snowiest colleges in the country.
Fantastic. So snow is not completely unexpected this weekend, but just tremendous action. Okay, we've got Semenuk out front, obviously in Subaru WRX, Pat Grushka. There's a whole bevy of kind of Rally 2 R5 cars to look out for this weekend.
Yeah, we got Greg Bugaj back in the STI.
Enda McCormick.
It's going to be a great competitive field here this weekend. It's going to be interesting. You know, a lot of the tricky, wet stuff where we're seeing those dips through some of those swamps, like on Al's Playground. Yeah, I think it's going to be tricky. You know,
there's lots to catch you out.
Yeah,
absolutely, lots to catch you out. For me, as much as we're looking forward to seeing everybody, one thing I'm really looking forward to this weekend is Leah Block in the Escort Cosy, her father's car, Ken's car. That's going to be a real treat, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, that V2 Cosy is so cool. Bright, big, wide body, a lot different than the V1 Cosy. It was just basically a Group A car. This V2 Cosy, he got to do, you know, a couple different, 2 years, I believe, in it before he moved on to a different car. But great to see that thing back out. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be cool to see what she can do. You know, Leah wrapped up the championship last event, basically.
With 2 events to spare.
Yeah. So why not have some fun? Her and Ree are going to push. And
it is going to be interesting. You know, as much as they're going to have some fun and love that car and the memory of Ken and everything, it is going to be interesting to see what she could do in a 4-wheel drive car for the first time. No pressure at all on Leah. Just go and have some fun. But there's a lot of places out there she could really set the stages alight, couldn't she?
Definitely. Yeah, I've already kind of in the back of my mind, as soon as I saw that post about that car, I'm like, well, I wonder.
Where?
You know,
where could she finish? Yeah. What do you reckon then?
You know, I think they're going off her speed factor from her 2-wheel drive, so she'll obviously be starting in the top 10. But will she go more forward? That 2-wheel drive car, though, something to note, it did have more power. Yes. So this is a step down in power, but you do have that all-wheel drive, and especially on some of these stages where it's slippery and trickier, that's going to be a lot more beneficial.
It's going to be great. You need to stay in one place for the action throughout the event. It's Dirtfish Live Centre on dirtfish.com. Stay tuned.